the Kalos region! I didn't think I'd say goodbye so soon. Then again, you didn't give me anywhere near as many Pokemon to love as Unova or even Johto. And nope, I don't count Mega Pokemon, as I label them as transformations, much like Deoxys, Giratina, Shaman, you get the picture. With having the shortest amount shown to us, unless future titles want to challenge that, please don't, picking favorites wasn't the hard part. Except for one, it was putting them in the right order and writer's block that were the real battles. I know you guys have been ready for this, and now, so am I. Let's start it off! So after all these years of repeatedly getting comments about the list, who's the first one to make it on here? What is that? Can't unsee. Look, I get what Revenant is supposed to be. Even if you just overlook its origins, it's easy to see what it's going for. Creepy trees that feel like they've come to life and want to shake you by the throat. Normally, I don't pay attention to the Pokedex entries because they can either eat a whole mountain for a meal, or it takes your soul while you're training it. My exception for those are the ones that try to sound more like defenders and heroes, rather than having a reputation it can't live up to. These Guardians of the Groves can control other trees, and will trap anyone who harms the forest forever. Good luck with getting paper. You can catch these guys in X and Y, but if you train by superior breeding, you'll have to trade for it to become the Elder Tree Pokemon. Leave a comment if you hope to get rid of that outdated sequence someday. It has a signature move that adds Grass type to a Pokemon's resume, but unless you give it Poison Jab, X-Scissor, or have an advantage on standby, it's not exactly a good idea to give it that. Quick little story. I remember when it was first revealed to the public in the Japanese movie theaters, and people were trying to draw pictures of it before they revealed it to everyone else. I just wanted to note that, fun fact and all. Being a Grass and Ghost type, it gets the benefits of their respective resistances. Ignorance is not always blissy. Revenants also have great attack power and decent special defense, but they are pretty much rooted to the ground in terms of agility. Combine that with its poor physical defense, and it won't survive that long on its own. Is that why you laughed at it? No, but that's a good callback. I admire what it's trying to be. Withered old tree that protects other trees with a menacing glare. It's simple, and I can't complain about it too much in concept. But its appearance is where I kinda have a funny bone to pick with it. Because of the black shadow that's inside the tree, it makes it look like the cheapest Coldplay costume ever. Background tree number 3, I choose you! Why didn't they give it some kind of twisty, swirly, purpley substance for effect instead of being an easy fit for Halloween? Having said that, I still like the Pokemon, and it does fairly well for me in battles when it can survive attacks. Plus, it's one of the best things I use for Mega Kangaskhan and Endeavoring Trolls. But it's hard for me to look at Revenant seriously anymore. Leave it to Pokemon to make terrifying ghosts something to laugh at. Good grief, did ground and electric types get the short end of the escape rope in Gen 6. I think only Ghosts and Dragons got it worse than Johto. I do like to have an electric type in my team, so I have to take what I'm given. And what I'm given is pretty darn good. A little weird that it's also a normal type, but it wasn't the only one to get that weird mix-up this time. Its design gives me the right kind of Pokemon feel. It reminds me a lot of Ampharos. It's simple in design, has yellow and black color scheme, has a long neck and tail, both are electric types, and I want to hug them. Its best stats are special attack and speed, making them rather good sweepers. Without looking it up, I'm sure it's based on those lizards that have frills on their necks and can run on water. That last part comes from the fact that it can learn Surf! And unless it's running Rain Dance and Dry Skin, I'd rather give it Grass Knot for ground types and take a chance with Focus Blast. Unless its hidden power is Ice, in which case, woohoo! They never see it coming! Thanks for switching into it, you got what you deserved! Sometimes I do look at this guy and think, it looks so weak and frail, and its poor physical guard only backs that up. But thanks to its sweeper skills, that's what its opponents feel like after they lose to it.
Choose your weapon.
That's nice. That could be fun. I win! It's kind of hard to pass up a Pokemon like Aegislash. Cool typing, neat design, exclusive ability and move, and was in my team during the first journey. It got me through a couple of tough matches, and fighting types could only weep, well earning it a spot on my list. I like its design, including its former forms, a living sword and shield. Common appliances turned into Pokemon aren't all that uncommon, and you thought I forgot about Rotom earlier. But weapons turned into Pokemon that are basically used as weapons? It's as full circle as they come. Its ability literally makes or breaks this Pokemon. It starts off as good as a Hyrulean shield, and when it attacks it'll be as strong as a Bigoron sword, with the defense of a single piece of grass. Maybe if it would use its shield as an actual shield all the time. Never mind, I forgot logic doesn't make sense in the Pokemon world. Thank you for proving my point, Dragon Tree. Not to mention its slow speed makes it quite the target practice. but when other swords join hands around it, well, to be honest, I'm not sure what you'll faint from first. An attack or dehydration? The heck was that? Oh. In my Pokedex, Xerneas is the most elegant and majestic legendary Pokemon to be put on the box this side of OO. It's the first fairy legendary type with an exclusive move that once activated increases its special attack, special defense, and speed by 2 stages. The trade-off being you have to waste 2 turns to use it. Yeah, I know, waiting sucks. Power Herb! It also has a normal look and a battle-ready look, and you can't go any further in X until you make it a part of your team. I wonder how many X's I can find in its design, front appearance, if its legs ever spread out, and in the eyes. Really nail that symbolic gesture. Unlike its counterpart Yveltal, this Pokemon is based more on beauty and giving life. I'll take a double! Once it's powered up, it has little problems taking down some of the most well-known and dangerous Pokemon out there. Legendary dragon types that aren't Reshiram and Dialga, it's okay to cry. Its stance also feels, how do I put this? Mature, confident, capable, ready to take on whatever comes its way. Almost gentlemanlike in battle. Unless it starts prancing around, then let's all have a good giggle. I normally have a soft spot for the legendaries, and while I've gotten comments that say, they shouldn't count, I counter that by saying they're still Pokemon after all, why shouldn't I like them? Yeah, it gets annoying seeing people use nothing but a team of legendaries online in free battles, but trust me, they pale in comparison to outstanding IVs. In fact, there are times I almost take pity on them if I didn't have a disturbing grin on my face. Yes, outstanding IV legendaries are even more dangerous, but do you know how long it takes to get some of those? You're gonna need that extra life. This is embarrassing. For a while, I thought I had the entries in lockdown for this countdown, but just a few weeks before finalizing everything for making this video, I decided to give 4 more Pokemon a chance to be in the opening sequence for honorable mentions. 3 of them made it. The 4th one, on the other hand, actually surpassed all my expectations and gave me even more to write about than the one who sadly got knocked off. That poor 11th place is now Diggersby. Big Rabbit with bigger ears! Its hidden ability Pure Power is a must. It is the only new non-legendary ground type this generation, and can learn all 3 elemental punches from the move tutor and the Hoenn revisits. That's about it. Thank you, Diggersby, for all the difficult battles you got me through. I still like you, so never forget that, and I'll always be glad to have you in battle. But this one is just dripping with potential and stuff to write about. Now I've got so much to drool over, I don't even know where to begin. I guess its appearance is a good to start. I'm a little sorry. That heartwarming smile. I'm comfortable getting a bit slimy for an embrace. Way to take a French folklore creature, something like this, and make it as charming as a Dragonite. I prefer to have my lineup filled with sweepers, but any Pokemon that can hold its own in battle, it can take out Mewtwo's for crying out loud, while having moves to counter its own nightmares is always a great addition to my roster. Its physical defense is meh-ish, but its special defense is so amazing it takes a Mega Legendary just to catch up to it. At least as far as dragons go. Its speed is rather slow, but it can be used to its advantage if you give it the weakness policy, which can increase its already nice special attack stat by 2 stages if hit by its 3 biggest fears. And if you've got its hidden ability Gooey, which I have to thank Arrow Dragon 2 and his friend for that, then it can be used as a great setup for others to follow, and even better if they're using something like Double Hit. I love this result. How it becomes a good dress should also be noted. I think this is the first time where a Pokemon needs to be in the rain at or after level 50, and it has to be a natural rain as rain dance and abilities won't work. Unless the next gen changes that. Even though it's been in my team for a short amount of time, its winning streak has it stuck in my roster with a possible promotion and with a smile to match mine.
Chespin!
I said I was gonna pick Chespin, and I don't regret it. Of the 3 starters of the 6th gen, Chespin is still the one I look at the most and say, aww. And I intend to keep that tradition going with Rowlet. Aww. Flip yeah! I still can't believe Chespin creamed the first gym. It was at a double disadvantage, but it had rollout and wow. So why Chespin and not Chestnut? Before that, I'll tell you why it's not Quilladin. Nope. Not a fan of that design. In fact, I actually kept my Chespin all the way to level 35, so I only had to have this guy for 1 level. After getting the knowledge of what Quilladin's appearance was, I was worried of what the final form would look like, and I was cheering when it looked like a tank! It moves like one, hits like one, can block bombs with its hidden ability, and can knock over actual tanks with just a tackle. That being said, it does have a dual weakness to those that reside in the air. I don't even want to bring up how pitiful it is against psychic types, so I decided to have Chespin move into the spot. Chestnut is always welcome to visit, but Chespin has seniority, and the adorable factor. There is absolutely no creativity when it comes to being called Talonflame. But I'm too lazy to come up with a nickname, so we'll just let bygones be bygones. Its defenses are pretty weak, and it doesn't even seem like it'll do a lot of damage unless it has to hurt itself. But Talonflame's hidden ability gives it the upper hand in many fights, except against rock types. Gale Wing gives it an extra zoom-in speed priority to flying type attacks, so imagine a move like Brave Bird having the same effect as Quick Attack. It's basically a missile with feathers! The number of matches -1 has become uncountable. I've even KO'd plenty of legendary Pokemon thanks to Talonflame, and a little help from number 3. I've even heard that this Pokemon was the only reason that Mega Blaziken wasn't banned in ranked battles. But I don't really follow the competitive scene that much, so what do I know? Well, I know it's a freaking terror of the skies! Forget a Pokemon like Lugia's typing, nearly every fighting type should run away from this one, if they can. I won't deny that its ability and moves got it this high, but even before getting the ability, Talonflame was already a part of my team throughout the Kalos region, so it's not like I heard about it and then loved it. I loved it first, and then loved it even more. It struggled for a while as it just couldn't get any good moves. Then I finally gave it Fly and saw its power for the first time, and the rest is history. It's fast, it's reckless, it's just what I need.
Beg for mercy.
Whoever insulted Chandelure for being the worst designed Pokemon ever? Yeah, I think you owe it an apology after you see what I found in the couch. Klefki is not a Pokemon you should try to show off to someone else. Unless it's to warn them. First impressions are usually the most important, and anyone who didn't already know this one would say, "You serious?" Even though I've almost stopped paying any attention to the Pokedex, its description says it shakes its keys to frighten any possible threats. No, that's something you do to make babies laugh. What kind of rush time frame do they have to make some of these guys? And why is it 3rd place when I've done nothing but bash its design? Apparently there must be some kind of unwritten rule. If the Pokemon has a terrible or uninspiring look, then it must have something amazing to make up for it. Some exceptions granted. Klefki has great typing. Being a Fairy/Steel type means you lose your weakness to poison altogether. Until Gen 7, and you're only weak to fire and ground types. That was the big reason I decided to give it a shot in the first place. Its natural ability Prankster gives status moves a speed priority, letting it get the first and last laugh. And with those factors combined, it's quite possibly one of, if not the best support Pokemon you could ever have. I think my win rate online almost tripled after I added this guy to the starting lineup. Some people go online and think, I have insta-win with Mega Rayquaza and Primal of my choice. My Klefki didn't even take a scratch against both of them in the same match. Helps to learn your types, buddy. Based on its movements and personality, I think it's rather playful. How many of you just had your blood pressure go up after hearing that? Thunder Wave followed by Swagger and a mix of foul play results in a Rage Quit. It's scientific! A key can be more dangerous than a sword? Wouldn't be the first time. If I wasn't afraid of getting hit by a copyright claim, you bet I would have used that theme song as the BGM. I was never more curious of what two types could look like together than what Hawlucha is. Guess I can check that one off the list. Its design says, "You know what I am, and you're right to be scared. And why wasn't I in Pokken? You put in Crocook before me? What is wrong with you developers?" With Hawlucha's inclusion, Flying now has a dual type with every other type, just like Water. Speed is quite important to Hawlucha's training. A Limber Hawlucha is a capable one, but with the moveset and unburdened ability I use now, it sends the opposing trainer to therapy! Its signature, but not exclusive move, Flying Press, is unlike any other. It's a combo of fighting and flying mixed into one. Yes, I would like to see an Abomasnow sob uncontrollably, but them and Grass Dark types are the only ones that take the full effect. To the best of my knowledge, that is. I do have 3 questions. 1. Does it get a double stab for Flying Press? 2. Did anyone else ever think that Steel Wing should have been Steel and Flying? And 3. Since it's made to resemble a wrestling move and this Pokemon is based on wrestling, how come I can't learn Submission? I mean, I wouldn't teach it that anyways, but you know, I'm still curious about some of these things. For a while, it was pretty low on my list because I sucked at training it. If you saw the moves I gave it, I would have lost all credibility as a trainer. I gave it dig for electric types and laughs. Need I say more? Once I give it the more holy miltank arsenal of attacks, few have stood against it. Thunder Punch for Gyarados and other flying types, Sky Attack plus Power Herb plus Unburden plus Acrobatics equals I want my mommy. And then there's High Jump Kick. I've never liked this attack that much. I mean, it lands 90% of the time with the satisfaction of landing one of these. But 10% seems to happen more than it should, and when it does... But given it's the best fighting move you can give it, its success makes up for its falls. If you haven't trained one of these yet, brother, you are missing out. And I bet that sounds pretty painful right now. So Chespin didn't make it to the top? Who could it be? What Pokemon could he have had first all this time? Is it surprising? Unpredictable? Ah, pile of muck! He chose the obvious one! Some personal list this turned out to be! Everybody uses Greninja! I waited 3 years for this unoriginal letdown! What a waste of time watching this video! What? Before I even began brainstorming the 10 entries, Greninja has been my favorite in the Kalos region. It was locked in place before winning the #1 spot in the Japanese polls, and it claimed its trophy before they even announced him for Smash. Yeah, I've been holding back on that spoiler for quite a while now. So why is it my favorite from X and Y? Is it because it's a monster in the battle scene? Because it's a ninja? Because its scarf is a tongue? Because it has an Ash Greninja form that we can get in the special Sun and Moon demo? Yes, gross, and did Greninja really need a power boost like this? For the record, I do like Chespin more than Froakie, but in their final stages, there's no contest. After giving Silent, Slippery, and Deadly a test, it pretty much passed every question with perfect answers. It's the fastest water type in base stats, it has a pretty good special attack with a good move pool, so it's one of the best sweepers in the series. But there's a reason you'll normally see Greninjas holding Life Orbs. It's the only power boost a special attacks it can have, besides one that needs to get hit first. Its signature attack Water Shuriken should only be used in Smash because it's not a special move. Whoa! It's a special attack in Gen 7? Scratch that. Sometimes I'm glad these videos get delayed so I don't say something I can't change later on. Right, Mega Ampharos? But let's get back to Kalos. Greninja's hidden ability Protean makes its typing a guessing game for your opponents. Right before it uses a move like, say, Ice Beam, it removes its water and dark type features and becomes a pure ice type, and then you get a stab for that move. And since I've already brought up its insane speed, you can see how this can be rather useful. It allows you to play mind games with your unsuspecting victims, while getting some extra oomph, plus an extra boost courtesy of the Life Orb. With all this going for it, you better bring in some of the big guns. Arceus, help me! Underestimating one is the last thing you should do. So bring on your shinies, your megas, your legendaries, your shiny mega legendaries. They will all fall before they even know what hit them. Behold true ninja power! Woo! And that'll do for this long overdue list, and if you have a difference of opinion, I'd love to hear who your favorite Pokemon from the Kalos region are. Better Nerf Greninja isn't just for Smash. And another long overdue and anticipated list is finally done. I hope it lived up to your expectations. The next list I plan will kind of be going back to the old ways of how I scripted them, so I don't have to worry too much about every little detail and can focus on getting them out sooner. As for a possible Alolan list, well, I don't plan on that being a 3-year wait, but let me train about 15 or 20 of them and then I'll get back to ya. But for now, how about a video plug? I'm starting to run low on these again. Might have to start plugging channels I've already plugged. Some of them really deserve more attention than they get. That being said, our plug for today is, sadly, from a channel that basically shut itself down. But out of gratitude and because of how long it took me to finally finish this video, here's a Super Mario World review by Lavadudar. Weren't you called Lavadudar I before? Even though you've closed up shop, I'm still going to say what I liked and what needed improvement in case you ever come back. I will say that while your main characters look flat, not sure if that's supposed to be a reference to Mr. Game & Watch, the animations on everything else look great. Except mouth movements. They could use a little more work to sync up with the voice. I liked how you gave a clear example of how the castle level could have been bad design, but was implemented properly. I think a few more of those would have strengthened your argument and made it a little more fleshed out and detailed. Pretty much what your music examples did. Honestly, I feel that a little more reasoning should have been given to make your recommendation feel a bit more justified, but we learn as we go. I do hope you'll get a better microphone, but yeah, I understand completely about environment problems for narrating, and yeah, for me, it's the hardest part. Also, the parts with your evil clone, I felt were either hit or miss. or went on longer than they should have, especially the last part. I do hope you'll come back someday. Now, I usually have a future video at the end, but this time, I'm going to leave 2 polls on Twitter about which review and which list you want me to tackle. So with that said, I'll see you guys in whatever I do next. A review, another list, something else, guess only time will tell. Later, everyone!